Right, so when I reached the roundabout, there was several more cars. You had a couple of black and blue, but sort of mostly dark red and black, and a couple of other things. There's a couple of cars with some wording on it, but I can't remember what it was. It seemed to be quite positive, but I do remember one of the words on the car, and that's the last out of the cars that passed, which I was mentioning on the previous recording. So the car said, "Just for you." Then you had someone from the field where they're pitching up all the stalls and caravans because they got some event opposite the rugby club at Barrack, where they say fucking paedophile being stabbed. There's 3-8 times loud bikes tied to erections and impulses, but sexual excited impulses, which pissed me off. But this is the interesting bit, and I want to mention this, and I want to make a quick documentary regarding this. So there's a Jesus Christ top, and that person who's wearing that passes me as I look down to the floor and see a pink cigarette pack saying "Lost Mary." Jesus Christ in his living life was in a sexual relationship with Mary Magdalene. A lost manuscript claims that Jesus Christ had 2 children in his living life, and that Mary Magdalene was a very young aged prostitute, possibly a legal age of consent in the UK as it stands today. Anyway, there's something I want to mention on this, because if I can explain it properly, because it's difficult to explain. That cigarette pack said "Lost Mary", so maybe they're making the suggestion that Jesus Christ is going to have to give his wife up to give to someone else, because that person hasn't had anyone, like myself, for example. You could look at it in that way. But if that was the case, Jesus would be making a mistake, because he'd be turning against his missus after Jesus Christ made 2 children from that specific missus, who was possibly a prostitute. Even in the main Holy Bible, the actual official King James Bible itself, I'm told that Jesus Christ had very strong relations, and it's likely that Jesus Christ has been in a sexual relationship with Mary Magdalene. Now, I wouldn't follow Jesus Christ as my saviour if he's been in a sexual relationship with Mary Magdalene, because, quite simply, I'd feel sickened, because the fact that he enjoyed sex with a sexual person in his living life, and the fact that I haven't had anyone, would make you feel like a piece of shit, and also it would make those who have never had sex in their whole life feel like a piece of shit as well. Anyway, the next problem is when it comes to the Spirit. Jesus would have sexed the spirit of Mary Magdalene, so they would have come together in spirit and in a sexual relationship through spirit as well. Well, when Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ died, obviously Jesus went to heaven, so if Mary Magdalene was reincarnated into a person on earth, she might not be a single mother as it stands in human flesh, and she might be a sexual looking person, and she might be single and ready for any man that needs someone. But the spirit inside her has enjoyed sex with Jesus Christ, meaning that you can't really separate the two from being in a sexual relationship. So in some ways, if Jesus Christ had to give up Mary Magdalene to give someone who's not had sex in their whole life Mary Magdalene in a new body on earth, because nobody else is single, then obviously men like myself would say, yes, I would go with Mary Magdalene in a new body that's not a single mother and fresh and back on planet Earth. But if I was to go with Mary Magdalene, then I'd be in the wrong, because I'd be going with Jesus Christ's missus that he was with in a previous life. because I'd be having sex with Mary Magdalene's spirit. Because Jesus Christ had sex with Mary Magdalene's spirit. But just supposing these spirits have been on Earth for millions of years in different bodies, then they would have been fucking each other in different lives. So maybe if you work it on that principle, it's not a problem. But it'd be interesting to find out how all this works, because I'm not sure myself. But just supposing Mary Magdalene came in human form, in a sexy body, and a single woman, even though she's been in a relationship in a previous life and had children, yes, I would still go with her if she was a clean person and not a single mother in this life and sexual looking, yes. But you know, you could look at that in that form. It's quite an interesting subject. I've never mentioned this subject before, but I didn't expect to see a Jesus Christ top and a Lost Mary at exactly the same time. I tried photographing the actual cigarette packet, but the camera's playing up, so there's no guarantee I've got the evidence. The likelihood is I haven't, but you know, at least I can give you some information of what occurred, and I'm not making that up.